livelihoods. All right. Okay, hold on. That being said, I'm going to quickly update my attendance because I see a couple new folks have joined us. Let's see. DJ, what's going on? Good to see you. Well, good to know you're here. Can't see you, but. And then I think there was one other person. Okay. All right. So we're going to do a quiz. I'm going to share this tab. I'm also going to send the link to the group chat. So go ahead and join that quiz code. You can click on the link that I just sent to the chat, and it should take you directly there. Or you can go to joinmyquiz.com and enter the code 361961, whichever works for you. 361961. Thank you to the first 3 of you who have joined. Nick, Chelsea, Olbert, thank you so much. Waiting on some others. While we wait on people to join, does anybody have any thoughts about anything that I just said about the fire or about climate change or energy sources or Hispanic Heritage Month? Anybody want to speak up and share anything? Okay. Well, you know, this was a lively discussion. So glad that I've got so many interested young adults who are, you know, thinking through these things. We should have 16. We have 16 people on the call. We've got 11 people in the game right now. Let me scroll up so the code is visible. All right, I'm gonna wait 30 more seconds, 30 seconds for any stragglers. Thank you to the 14 of you who have joined. Should have 2 more people, but we have to start without you, we will. All right. Okay, good job, Nick. Good job. Chelsea, I see you're doing well too. Joseph, good job. Let's try to wrap up in the next few minutes, people. And if you're not done by the time we start notes, then you're fine to go ahead and pause it, pause the game. Okay, excuse me. So, no. All right, so we definitely will be reviewing this because we really want this accuracy to be up closer to 80%. I know we've introduced some new concepts over the last few days, but this is a good opportunity for me to remind you all that if you need a little bit of extra help or you'd like to discuss some things one-on-one, there is a link that you can go to on our Canvas page where it says schedule an appointment with Mr. Rudd. You can click on that link. It's on the home page. It's one of those buttons. You can click on that link and we can find a time for us to meet one-on-one and go over some of these concepts that you may be struggling with. So the top three players so far are Chelsea, Fanique, and Nick. Definitely good job to all three of you. But as a class, we definitely want this accuracy to be a little bit higher than it is currently. So we'll go over these questions tomorrow. But for the sake of time, I'm going to jump into the notes for now. All right. So we did a similar practice problem yesterday where we put these images in order. But now I definitely want you all to identify these phases with the words from the word bank here. So which picture should be first of these five? And someone tell me which stage is first as well. We've got the word bank down there. So which picture is first? Go ahead and take yourself off mute because I don't really know, I don't get a notification when you all send a message. So just come off of mute and tell me which picture of these five should be first in the order. Okay, thank you, Aaron, even though I wanted you to come off mute, but you're right. Picture two is first. So what phase? Look at our word bank down here. Which?
That's prophase.
Okay, so prophase is the first step of mitosis. Excellent. But picture two actually represents interphase, which needs to happen before mitosis starts. So picture two is first, and that's interphase. Then prophase is our next stage. And which picture is prophase?
Is it number 4?
It is. Excellent. Prophase is number 4. Then what comes after that?
Metaphase.
Metaphase. Thank you, Chelsea. And which picture would metaphase be?
3.
Excellent. And metaphase to me is always one of the easier to identify because you can see the chromosomes are lined up directly in the middle. So that's kind of the dead giveaway there. After metaphase, what do we have?
Anaphase.
Thank you, Chelsea. Anaphase. And anaphase, ana means to come apart. So we should be seeing that the chromosomes are being pulled apart. And what picture would that be?
1.
Yep. So we can literally see here, they were lined up in the middle during metaphase, but now they're being pulled apart from one another. And so that means that telophase or telophase is this last picture over here. And during telophase, can someone tell me what happens?
The chromosomes arrive at the opposite poles.
Okay, good. Yeah. So during telophase, the chromosomes will end up in opposite ends. And what we're preparing to do is for this cell to split into two new cells, two distinct cells. So these, you can kind of see it happening here in this animation, this image. These two cells will eventually split apart, and that's the process of cytokinesis. So we've got these 5 phases here. Mitosis is the 4 phases: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. That's what makes up mitosis. Can anybody tell me what they're seeing in this picture? What's going on in this image here?
An egg.
Okay, so this is an egg cell, and what is around the egg cell?
Sperm.
Those are sperm cells. Good. So What we're seeing here is potential fertilization, and we'll talk specifically about fertilization on Friday, but we've got a lot of sperm cells swimming around this egg cell, and some of them may be successful in getting inside and fertilizing that egg cell. And once that happens, you have what's called a zygote, and we'll talk more about this, but that's the beginning of an embryo. This is the beginning of a baby, a human. Well, we don't know if this is a human or not, but the beginning of, offspring. What could happen? I'm going to push you all a little bit here with this question. What could happen if more than one of these sperm cells gets inside?
Twins.
You could get twins. Yeah, if two of them are able to get inside, you could end up with identical twins. And then, of course, if three get inside, you could end up with identical triplets, and so on and so forth. It is less likely the more children you add or the more sperm you add, because once one sperm gets inside, the egg kind of locks itself off to everybody else. So essentially, those two or those three or those four would need to get in at the exact same time before the egg locks itself off. So that's why it's uncommon. It's less common for you to see twins than it is to see one child. And then it's even less common to see triplets, and so on and so forth. And that's just for identical twins. Fraternal twins is something a little bit different. All right. Today we're going to talk about meiosis, which is similar in some ways to mitosis, but different in other ways. And in fact, as you all start to take your notes, hopefully everybody has pen and paper out, or if you're choosing to take your notes a different way, hopefully you're ready to go. But as you're taking your notes, especially if you're on pen and paper, it could be a good idea for you to create a Venn diagram on your page. So one circle for meiosis, one circle for mitosis, and then a little bit of overlap. So we can start to fill in some of the differences and similarities between mitosis and meiosis. So that sentence that's highlighted in purple says, remember, interphase has to occur first. And that's because we need to replicate the DNA before the cell can divide. And so that's a similarity between meiosis and mitosis. Both of them can only happen after the DNA has been replicated. The cell cannot divide before the DNA has been replicated. If the cell does divide before the DNA has been replicated, more than likely we are going to end up with some pretty serious problems. So we have to wait for the DNA to replicate during interphase before meiosis or mitosis. And also, similarly to another similarity between meiosis and mitosis, is that they are both processes of cell division. And I apologize that I didn't translate the slides today. I'll make sure to get back to that tomorrow. But meiosis is also a process of cell division, but that's kind of where the similarities end. Because meiosis is used to make gametes, which are our sex cells. And we learned yesterday that mitosis is used to make somatic cells. Another difference between them is that meiosis is used for sexual reproduction, whereas mitosis is used for asexual reproduction. So if you're unclear about what a gamete is just a word for our sex cells, and we have two sex cells. We've got sperm cells and egg cells. All right, so we've got some differences. Meiosis is sexual, mitosis is asexual. Meiosis is gametes, mitosis is somatic. Let's keep going. Meiosis undergoes 2 rounds of cell division to make 4 unique haploid daughter cells. That's another crucial difference between meiosis and mitosis. Meiosis undergoes prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase twice, 2 times each. And so what you'll see is that there will be a prophase 1, then a metaphase 1, then an anaphase 1, then a telophase 1. And then the cell will split. And then we'll end up doing it again, prophase 2, metaphase 2, anaphase 2, telophase 2. And you eventually end up with 4 unique haploid daughter cells. Mitosis, of course, only undergoes 1 round of cell division, and it makes 2 identical diploid daughter cells. That's what we learned yesterday. So meiosis makes haploid cells. A haploid cell is a sex cell. It's a gamete. It's a sperm and an egg cell. And these haploids only have 1 chromosome, as opposed to diploid cells, which have 2 chromosomes. Di, of course, is a prefix meaning 2. So meiosis produces 4 unique haploid daughter cells. All right. Another thing to point out here, we've got 2N. 2N represents a diploid cell or a diploid cell. You got to keep that in mind. Di means 2. All right, so 2N represents the diploid cell, and it has 2 chromosomes, whereas the haploid cell is just N because it has half the number of chromosomes, only 1. So haploid cells have half the number of chromosomes. That means if I start off with 30 chromosomes, then my haploid cell will only have 15 chromosomes. It has half. If I start off with 10 chromosomes, then my haploid cell will only have 5 chromosomes. It has 5, or it has half. All right, so we've got to keep that in mind. And this is what this slide is saying. During meiosis, the daughter cells will have half the number of chromosomes as the parent cells. So in the case of human beings, our cells have 46 chromosomes. Once they undergo meiosis 1, so they do meiosis the first time, they do prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1, telophase 1. Once they do that one time, now they have 23 chromosomes. And then they'll do that again, meiosis 2. And they finish off with 4 unique haploid cells, which have half the number of original chromosomes. Started off with 46, you got to finish up with 23. Okay. So again, meiosis does each of those steps twice. Prophase 1, prophase 2. Metaphase 1, metaphase 2. Anaphase 1, anaphase 2. And then telophase 1 and telophase 2. Now it still goes in order. So prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1, telophase 1, cytokinesis. Prophase 2, metaphase 2, anaphase 2, telophase 2, cytokinesis. And our last end product, our end results, is 4 daughter cells that each have half the number of original chromosomes. We can even see that in this image. The original cell, the parent cell, has 4 chromosomes. Down here, our 4 daughter cells each has 2. All right. So this is just another image to kind of represent the difference between mitosis and meiosis. In mitosis, we should note that here we're starting off with 4 chromosomes. We're going to end up with our 2 daughter cells, each having 4 chromosomes. And these 2 daughter cells are identical to one another. We've got purple, red, green, blue, purple, red, green, blue. That's mitosis. In meiosis, we're starting off with our 4 chromosomes, so same parent cell. But as we move through meiosis 1 and then meiosis 2, we end up with 4 daughter cells instead of 2 daughter cells. We've got 4, and they are also identical. I'm sorry, they're also unique. So we've got red, green over here, and we've got purple, green over here, or purple, blue, I'm sorry. Red, green, purple, blue. And they have half the number of chromosomes. We had 4 up here. Each of these daughter cells only has 2. Okay. And yet another image to depict meiosis. Each step is done twice. There's prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1, and telophase 1, then cytokinesis. And then these 2 cells undergo meiosis 2. So prophase 2, metaphase 2, anaphase 2, telophase 2, and lastly, cytokinesis. And up here, I like that it says DNA is copied. I'm not sure how easy that is for you all to see, but remember, we cannot go through cell division. We can't do M phase. We can't do meiosis or mitosis until we have replicated the DNA. In other words, until we have copied the DNA. So we can't move from interphase to prophase until the DNA has been copied. All right, so here's just a numbers representation for those of you who like numbers. We start off with our parent cell, which has, in humans, 46 chromosomes. Then we undergo interphase, which replicates the DNA. So we double the number of DNA. We double the number of chromosomes. 46 times 2 is 92. Now we have to undergo meiosis 1, and we cut that 92 in half to 46. And then we undergo meiosis 2, which gives us our end result of 4 haploid daughter cells. We should notice that half of 46 is 23. So we end up with half the number of the parent cell's chromosomes. So can someone help me out with this? What number should go in this cell here? If the parent cell is here, this step represents DNA replication. What number should go here?
32.
32, excellent. And then after meiosis 1, what number should go in these 2 cells? Remember, meiosis 1 produces 2 diploid cells. So 32 gets cut into half. What do I get?
Another 16.
Another 16. Good. So these circles should have 16. And for those of you taking notes, this might be a good thing to write down. But then that's not my only round of meiosis. I do a second round of meiosis. So after meiosis 1, I have to do meiosis 2. And what does that eventually leave me with in my daughter cells, my haploid daughter cells? What goes here?
Is it 8?
It's 8, yeah. So our end result needs to be 4 haploid daughter cells that are totally unique. So we end up with this cell here has 8 chromosomes. This one is slightly different, but it still has 8 chromosomes. This one is also slightly different, but it has 8 chromosomes. And this fourth one is different, but it also has 8 chromosomes. So what happens is that the egg cell, which is a haploid cell, and the sperm cell, which is also a haploid cell, when they are joined together in fertilization, you're bringing half of the parent DNA from the parent with the sperm, and you're bringing half of the DNA from the parent with the egg. And together they make a total diploid cell. All right. So if there are any questions about that, please let me know. I know some of this can feel like we're speeding through, and I didn't see your question or your answers, Jessica, but you were correct. Thank you for that. But I will leave you with that. We have an assignment. There's a video with corresponding questions as well as an exit ticket. I will be here if anyone needs help or needs me to explain anything. Do not be shy. Make sure you're getting the help that you need. No one is going to be judgmental if you need me to explain something. That's not your fault. That's mine. So if you're a little confused, let me know. But other than that, I will put myself on mute and let you all knock out these
Why are you swimming?
Okay, so it's 1:20 people. I appreciate your hard work and diligence today. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow, and I hope you have a good rest of your Wednesday. Please reach out to me or schedule an appointment if you need anything.